Yet, 2 days ago, they shot 2 failed missiles on a target 4,000 kilometers away. For years, they told the world that their missiles could only range 2 kilometers. Surprise. Yet again, Iran lied.
After more than 850 Tomahawks in 4 weeks, each costing millions, has America really changed Iran's behavior, or just cratered sand and hardened Tehran's resolve? As $3.6 million cruise missiles vanish from magazines, is this blitz doing anything more than proving how much money Washington can burn without breaking Iran? If billions in precision munitions leave Iran still firing back, are we watching a shift from shock and awe to a grinding war of attrition that just keeps America in the same place? With over 850 Tomahawks and more than 1,000 interceptors already expended, how long can US magazines hold under constant fire before planners start saying no more? And with Patriot, THAAD, and SM-3s all in the fight at once, is America quietly throwing almost everything it has at Iran, or still trying to keep something in reserve for the next war? As multi-million-dollar missiles rain on Iranian targets, US officials admit the campaign is burning through some of the Pentagon's core missile stocks. The Washington Post reports US forces have fired more than 850 Tomahawk cruise missiles since the war began. Each Tomahawk can cost up to about $3.6 million. Yet Iran's leadership and missile arsenals have not cracked. Officials told the Post that the burn rate has genuinely alarmed planners inside the Pentagon. Only a few hundred Tomahawks are built each year, meaning the supply is capped even before wartime surges. The missile's 1,000-plus mile reach lets US commanders hit Iran from afar and keep pilots clear of dense air defenses. GPS-guided Tomahawks can be retargeted mid-flight and support real-time battle damage assessment, making them a favorite first-night weapon. But commanders are already debating whether to pull Tomahawks from other theaters, including the Indo-Pacific, to keep Iran operations going. The Pentagon is now tracking every single launch, worried about what happens if another conflict erupts while stocks are low. One US official has already described Tomahawk stocks in the Middle East as alarmingly low. Another warned Washington could soon go Winchester, military slang for effectively out of ammo, in the Iran theater. At-sea resupply has reportedly begun, with destroyers reloading long, heavy cruise missiles from support ships. Analysts estimate the US Navy may have started this war with only about 3,000 to 4,000 Tomahawks ready to fire. Experts quoted by the Post say firing a quarter of that stock for Iran alone could leave gaps if a Pacific showdown flares next. Modern Tomahawks can take up to 2 years to go from contract to operational missile in a launcher. The US Navy bought only 57 Tomahawks last year, tiny compared with the pace of current wartime use. Even after promised ramp UPS, industry can only churn out roughly 600 Tomahawks a year at best. Raytheon and other contractors have been yanked into urgent meetings as Trump demands they quadruple output. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has warned arms makers that time itself is now a weapon, pushing them to speed deliveries. But experts caution it will still take years to refill the magazines emptied by strikes on Iran. Many of these missiles were burned in the opening Operation Epic Fury barrages, which saw thousands of precision strikes in days. US and Israeli forces have also fired more than 1,000 interceptor missiles, Patriots, THAAD, and naval SM-3s, since Iran salvos began. These high-end air defense stocks are limited and tightly classified, adding to unease about how deep the magazines really are. Commanders now fear parallel shortages in interceptors just as Tomahawk inventories thin out. Officially, the Pentagon insists America still has everything it needs to finish any mission in Iran or beyond. The White House has dismissed talk of shortages as stories designed to sow doubt among Americans and allies. Yet the Pentagon is now asking Congress for more than $200 billion to fund Iran operations and rebuild stockpiles. Hegseth says that money is needed both to refill what's been fired and to expand stockpiles for the next crisis. Meanwhile, despite millions of dollars in missiles launched every night, Iran continues to resist and keep launching its own attacks. The sheer cost and speed of US weapons use now raise a harder question. How sustainable is a long war if Washington keeps firing at this pace? Amid the escalating conflict, President Trump said the US armed forces, the most powerful in the world, are annihilating Iran's military capacity with a level of force, precision, and skill the world has never seen.
And then there was a big moment also in my first administration when I took out Soleimani. And a lot of people think that might have been the biggest thing of all because He was a mad genius. He was a vicious, horrible human being, but he was a great general and a great leader, if you define a leader in a certain way, very, very powerful leader. In fact, he was so powerful that I really think that the leadership of Iran was extremely happy when I took him out, but they don't say that, but nobody's going to be asking him anymore because they're not here either. But getting the termination and terminating the Iran nuclear deal that was done by Biden and Obama, I would say mostly Obama. Actually, I don't think Biden knew where he was then, too. He had no idea. If you said to him, the Iran nuclear, what's that? But there was 4 years of hell we had with this guy as our leader, I'll tell you. And then we hit him with the B-2 bomber, so we did it twice. But if they would have had a nuclear weapon, it would have been a whole big deal. And I wouldn't be here right now, and probably you guys wouldn't be too happy. You might be in an area, who knows where you would have been. But we did it twice. And I really believe we saved the Middle East. We saved not just Israel, we saved the Middle East. And it was proven by all those rockets that fired down upon you. Saudi Arabia got hit a lot. You all got hit, and nobody expected any missiles to be wasted. You would have thought they were only going at Israel. They weren't. As President of the United States, I would never allow the world's #1 state sponsor of terror to obtain a nuclear weapon. I said that for a long time. And I didn't. To defend America and our allies over the past 27 days, the U.S. Armed Forces, most powerful in the world, have been annihilating Iran's military capacity with force, precision, skill like the world has never seen. It was violence, actually, really violence. We're crushing Iran's currently as we speak. I just looked. We had another big day. We hit them. They don't know what's happening. Remember this. They lied about 3 days ago. I said, yeah, we're negotiating with Israel. We are not negotiating. They're being hit so hard, anybody would be negotiating. They are negotiating. They're begging to make a deal. They're begging to make a deal. Turned out I was right. They were negotiating, which they admitted 2 days later. And in order to make up for their misstatement, they said, we're going to send you 8 ships of oil. And the following day I saw, this is 2 days ago, I saw on one of the networks, very strange, there are 8 ships of oil coming out of Iran. And then they actually said, we're going to add an extra 2. And they added an extra 2, so we had 10 ships. And then people realized we were actually negotiating. We're negotiating now, and it'd be great if we could do something, but they have to open it up. They have to open up the Strait of Hormuz. Excuse me for this. I'm so sorry. Such a terrible mistake. The fake news will say, he accidentally said, no. There's no accidents with me, not too many. If there were, we'd have a major story. No, well, we had that with the Gulf of Mexico. Remember the Gulf of Mexico? And one day I said, why is it the Gulf of Mexico? We have 92% of the area around it. They have 8%, really less than 8%. But for 350 years, it was good. You know, they were there 100 years longer than us, Mexico. They're at 350, we're at 250. And I said, often asked myself, why do we call it the Gulf of Mexico? It seems like we dominate. Well, when I checked, it was more than 92%. So I announced, I wouldn't say Mexico was thrilled, but I announced that from now on, the Gulf of Mexico is going to be called the Gulf of America. And it took about 1 hour, and it was done. Everybody, the president called me. She's really a nice person, too. I like her a lot. She called up. She had the most beautiful voice. She's a very elegant woman, has a beautiful, beautiful voice. She goes, President, tell me, this is not so. No, it's so. Oh, it's so. And then Google Maps changed it. We won the court case in about 1 hour, and Google Maps changed the name. And it's now the Gulf of America, which it should be in all fairness. We're crushing Iran's weapons stockpiles, destroying their missiles and drone factories at levels nobody ever thought was possible, and turning their defense industrial base into nothing. Iran's Navy is gone. It's all sunk at the bottom of the Gulf and elsewhere. Did you see the attack submarine that we have went after one of their boats? It was called the Soleimani. It was the pride of their fleet. But this attack submarine goes like 60 miles an hour. I never saw anything. And it caught them in about 2 minutes. And that was the end of the Soleimani. Now, then they're 100% dead. They have 22 mine droppers. They go on mine droppers. And the mine droppers, 22, all 22 are gone. So I guess they can drop mines, but they're going to have to take them out by a rowboat because they don't have any boats. Their Air Force is dead, totally, completely dead. It's out of business. No planes left at all. Their anti-aircraft and communications capabilities are totally dismantled and dead. And their leaders are all dead. Other than that, I think they're doing quite well. No, their leaders are dead. Their supreme leader is no longer supreme. He's dead. The son is either dead or in very bad shape because nobody's heard from him. I think he says, just keep me out of this. This is the only country where nobody wants to lead. There's nobody. Who would like to lead Iran? Please raise your hand, a big audience of distinguished. Who would like to be our leader? Dead silent. Nobody wants to lead.